Thank you. The gentlewoman from California, Ms. Porter, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Chairman Powell, you've frequently spoken about your belief in the importance of maintaining the independence of the Federal Reserve. Do you still have that belief?
I do.
Anything changed in the new year?
No.
Right. Because we don't want the Fed to be making decisions about things like where to set interest rates based on any factors other than the best interest of the country. And I know you've had some experience with the president publicly and aggressively attempting to lean on you to lower interest rates, and I appreciate your continually affirming the importance of the independence of the Fed. But it's not just our president, but there are a lot of people out there who would love the opportunity to weigh in on Fed decisions. Outside of administration officials, what other kinds of people might want to influence you in regard to the Fed's decision making?
What other people might want to influence us? You could potentially quite a wide range of people, I would think. Major
investors, financiers?
I don't know that people are really seeking to, you say might want to influence us. The answer is I really don't know the answer to that. Okay. Many people follow what we do and respect what we do. I think people often, when I meet them, really shy away from giving advice. Okay. They really do. They feel like they don't presume to give advice.
So you don't feel unduly pressured by political or special interests?
No, I really don't.
Would you say that someone like Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, one of the richest men in the world, could benefit from having influence over the Fed's decisions?
I wouldn't know, actually. I don't know.
What about Jared and Ivanka Trump? They're very wealthy people. Do they have savings and make different amounts of money depending on what the Fed does with interest rates?
Yes.
What about Kellyanne Conway? Does she, in her role as advisor to the president, and the president's expressed these public views, does she potentially have an interest in amplifying the president's message? That is, after all, her job.
I suppose, yeah.
Okay. Mr. Powell, I'm going to project a picture up here so that the audience can see, but I'm also going to hold it up for you. Is this you, Mr. Powell?
That is.
Where are you?
That's a party after the alfalfa dinner, an after party that I went to.
Where was that party held?
At Jeff Bezos' home.
At Jeff Bezos' home, and when was it taken?
Excuse me?
When was this picture taken?
Saturday night after the alfalfa dinner.
Give or take, you'll stipulate end of January 2020?
Yes.
Recently. Can you imagine how attending a lavish party at Jeff Bezos' $23 million home, along with Jared and Ivanka and the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, might give off the sense to the public that you are not, in fact, immune from external pressures?
I would certainly hope not.
What did you talk about at that party with them?
I didn't talk to any of the people you named.
You didn't talk to anybody?
I didn't talk to any of the people you named.
Oh, can you tell me who you did talk to?
I mainly escorted my son and his brand new wife in there, and I actually introduced them to General Mattis.
Okay, great. I would just suggest that this attendance at this kind of event with these kinds of people is inconsistent with what I would otherwise commend you on for doing a very good job, I think, of reaffirming to the public. This plants in the public's mind, I think, a seed that is counter to what you have been doing. Quickly, Mr. Powell, if you can just name a couple of the biggest drivers of economic growth in this country since the recession in the 1970s. What's been making our economy grow? What factors?
What factors have been making it grow? Well, the hard work of the American people. Mm-hmm. I think what you've seen is tremendous growth in some sectors and less in other sectors. Of course, the big technology companies, they weren't around 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think we've seen lots of growth in some areas. I think other areas, much less so.
Mr. Powell, would it surprise you if I told you that women in the workforce are actually a bigger driver of economic growth than technology companies? And in a span of 4 decades since the 1970s, 38 million women joined the workforce, and without those women, our economy would be 25% smaller. So when we talk about the health of our economy and we talk about GDP growth, What I don't hear a lot about, and I'd like to hear more from you about, is about the economic effect of things like childcare availability. In those same 4 decades in which women grew the economy 25%, the cost of childcare shot up 2,000%. Do you know, Mr. Powell, how much childcare in America costs today?
How much it costs today in America? It costs a lot.
Could you put a little bit firmer? You're an economic expert. Could you put a little firmer number on that?
I don't. My kids are grown up.
I'll yield back.
The gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Davidson, is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam.